And we're live here on YouTube, like the well knows listening in podcast land, and also my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today? What's new? What's up? How's life?
I'm doing good. A little tired because we were out in Aledo last night, having dinner and fellowship with a couple from our church. So got to bed just a little bit later than we usually do, but I'm up. I'm talking to you, and I got some nice hot coffee. So.
Black Rifle, I'm assuming?
No, it is, I actually have, what is it? I don't remember what he calls this coffee, but a guy in our community group actually brews and roasts his own coffee, so we bought from him, so.
I mean, that's cool, but it's not Black Rifle coffee.
It's not Black Rifle, no.
Like, that Beyond Black, man, if we really take this, if we were taking this show seriously and we were actually doing things, we should that should be one of our sponsors.
Mike, how about you?
I'm good. I mean, I woke up at 5:30 yesterday because one of my kids woke me up, and then I was up until 2 o'clock this morning. Mostly playing video games and stuff.
I just don't have the energy for those 2 a.m.s anymore. I think I'm, in my old age, like 10:30 is that limit for me anymore, and then I'm out. But good on you, man. And I know my body clock's gonna gratefully expand as my body clock's gonna have to adjust as the family expands too.
Yeah. No, that's gonna. That is a. It wasn't even that. Like last night, I just was up and I couldn't sleep, and I then came down and got a new video game that I've been looking forward to for months, almost a year. And so I played that. I bought that and downloaded it and played it for a little bit and totally had fun. I actually don't feel that bad after only sleeping for like 5 hours last night, and was up 20 hours prior to that. So I'm doing good. I really am. I know that.
Okay. I don't.
But
that's just me. But
I've always been one that doesn't need a lot of sleep and only sleeps 4 to 5 hours regularly. So I'm all good. But we got lots of sports to talk about. Lots of things have happened in the world of baseball since we last talked, Rich. Lots of things. So we got to talk about that. Also, we are going to talk about esports. What else we got, Rich?
Well, Mike, as always, we have NASCAR and the NFL. Mike, since we're on a little bit of a time crunch this morning, let's go ahead and tell them what we got to do next.
We got to roll the intro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
And we're back with, a poll question, like always. Rich.
Yeah, I remembered to post it this time.
You did. You got that done. Our poll question was tailgating versus jumping in a leaf of piles, or in a pile of leaves. I'm still amazed that jumping in a pile of leaves won its first. It's what's that called in the NFL? Play-in game?
It's
play-in tournament.
Wild card matchup, I guess. We'll call it a wild card.
Yeah, that makes more sense to us. I can't believe it because there could be a pile at the bottom of that pile that you don't want to be jumping in if you have a dog. So I assume jumping in a pile of leaves always causes those problems. But apparently you people love the idea.
But I mean, I also see it as work. To get the pile of leaves, you have to do some work. You got to do some raking to get that pile of leaves.
Well, Rich,
as well,
we had 2 people vote for jumping into a pile of leaves.
Okay.
One was Danielle Hart, my wife, and Bob Driscoll. So, yeah, good for you guys. But 4 of us voted for tailgating. Me, Matt Johnson, AJ Hendricks, and Rich Hendricks. So that moves on.
Yeah, exactly. We've had some good times doing tailgating. I don't know if I ever did it at the high school sports level. But I mean, when we've gone up to games in Milwaukee, we've had good times tailgating. More on the Brewers later on in the show, and so Mike, you're involved with Okoboji football. Do you have people out there tailgating?
No,
at all.
But
No.
we offer a. How do I put this? It's a school honor, or it's a fundraiser tailgate. Mm-hmm. So they have like last week. Oh my goodness! Last week we had the Okoboji store, which is one of the best stores that we've had. One of the best restaurants up here. I've never had it until last week, and it was amazing. Anyway, they came out and brought like their actual food. They had a mac and cheese burger, and it was free will donation. And I bought 2 of them.
So it's more for the booster club.
Yeah, the money goes to the booster club, and so we have stuff like that almost every week. So yeah, that's always good.
Yeah, I think I somewhat remember because it's been so long ago, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, like we had a group of probably the popular kids that kind of had like a super fans, to where they would come really early to the football games, bring a couch, and I think they would grill and do stuff in the parking lot before going into the game. But that was probably the closest thing to maybe the tailgating or a scene that was at our headquarters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So our number 1 seeded tailgating will move on to that. We'll move on to the next round. This week, Mike, the poll question is scheduled. It's going to go live at 9 o'clock, which is when we'll be hitting the end now button. We're going to go number 2 seeded Bonfires versus the Pumpkin Patch.
Ooh.
Pumpkin Patch.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
And Bonfires. All right, Mike. Do you see what's coming up? Tell them real quick where they can find the poll question.
If you want to find out a poll question, follow Balls and Sticks or Fans of Balls and Sticks on Facebook.com/Fans of Balls and Sticks or Facebook.com/Balls and Sticks, or check out Rich and Mine's Facebook page. All that and more. So, Rich, with that, do you see what's coming up next?
Is it a left-hand turn?
And after that, Rich?
It's another left-hand turn. It's going to be a fast one this week, Mike, and tell them why.
Because we're heading into the NASCAR Corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs on 5th Avenue in Moline, or on their eBay store. Once again, that is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Rich, last week we were in Vegas. This next week we're heading to Talladega. Let's do the quick rundown. As we start, Denny Hamlin wins. And by the way, did you see that he got emotional?
Yeah, I did. I did. I was glad that it was more of a toned down. This one's from my dad.
Yeah. Man.
Instead of him going to his, what's been getting him a lot of boos lately with the whole, I beat your favorite driver, or I beat all your all's favorite driver. If you're not on the bandwagon, get ready to get run over.
Yeah.
Sort of deal. So I wasn't upset at a Denny Hamlin win this week. So
okay, go ahead and tell the folks how our playoff drivers did.
All right, playoff drivers. Mike, my pick of William Byron came in 36, and your pick of Kyle Larson came in 2nd. Before we talk about what happened to William Byron, how did our playoff drivers do?
Our non-playoff drivers.
The score update.
our non-playoff drivers, Rich, you picked Daniel Suarez, finished 20th. I picked Ross Chastain so that you couldn't cheer against me, and he came in 23rd. You got the 1 point for that. I get the 1 point for Kyle Larson. That puts us at 23-21 for you, Rich.
Yeah, William Byron.
Yeah, that was rough.
Doing great.
Really could have won the race.
Ty Dillon, there were some miscommunications between spotters. Ty Dillon wasn't being. Ty Dillon got rear-ended as he was slowing down to go into the pit lane. But at the same time, there's no brake lights or turn signals on NASCAR vehicles. You're relying sometimes on a hand signal, window to indicate that, hey, I'm pitting. That's why I'm slowing down. Or there's communications between the spotters.
Yep.
And that communication didn't happen. And both cars got wrecked out of the race because there was nothing full speed, and you got a car gradually slowing down to get to pit row speed.
Yep.
Those two things don't go together, and that's what happened to William Byron. So I was glad that it wasn't like that was a stupid move, and hey, acknowledging that, hey, that sort of stuff happens and it's on the spotters. The spotter didn't tell me. There was no communication between the spotters. So yeah. So because of that wreck, any other thoughts on the wreck, Mike?
No, I think I mean, honestly, it's 100%. It's 100% the spotter's faults. There's no reason why that communication didn't happen. The fact that it happened. I mean, obviously, they agreed that it was the spot the person running that was spotting for Ty because he got fired. The spotter got fired.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And if the spotter, I mean, that's people. So, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of, just because one mistake you're going to get fired, but you kind of deserve it on that one.
Or at least, at the very least, you would have thought that he wouldn't be the spotter for the rest of the year. They would have reassigned him somewhere else.
Yeah.
Within the organization. So, Mike, going into Talladega, Denny Hamlin automatically advances into the championship race in Phoenix. And joining him, 10 of the, pending the results of the next two races, you have Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Chase Briscoe. Below the cutoff line, my playoff drive, my pick of William Byron, Chase Elliott, and Penske teammates Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney.
I am really hoping, and I think it could be, and I'm really hoping it's going to be, Denny Hamlin at this point. Like, the man needs it.
All right, Mike. Yellowwood 400, Talladega. You don't need a subscription service to watch this race. You don't need cable television to watch the races. It's going to be on NBC.
Rich,
watch it over the air.
I mean, I don't have a way to watch NBC up here except for the fact that I have a subscription service. So, there's that. But
okay,
it's
Mike,
over the air. Talladega, it's one of those races you never know what you're going to get. It's always crazy. It's always somebody's going to win, and it's going to be who doesn't. We always say the track wins. That's cliche. It's getting better, but there's still. I mean, you're running almost 200 miles an hour, closer than I am to my monitor right now. Like, you are nose to tail, 200 miles an hour. One thing goes wrong. Somebody farts the wrong direction, and it can cause a huge pileup. Like, when you're on the interstate, and you still have a car length between you and the guy ahead of you. You can still get in trouble because you're following too close at 70 miles an hour. These guys are closer than how you park it in a parking lot to somebody, and driving at 200 miles an hour. So, yeah, gonna be fun. It's always a good race. I'm gonna pick William Byron. He's great at this track. He seems to have it figured out, and he needs to win to get into the Final Four.
All right. For my playoff driver, I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney. Normally, the Fords and Team Penske do good at the super speedways, and he needs to win a lot more than William Byron does. He's number 4 on the cut list, so he's going to need a good showing here in Talladega. So he doesn't have to worry about the cut line going into Martinsville. For a non-playoff driver, I'm going to go with his Penske teammate, Austin Cindric.
Okay. I don't mind either of those picks. However, I'm going to take Kyle Busch. One of two things happen. Either the curse happens or he wins or he does well. So we haven't really been cursing him that much this year, especially because we did that don't repeat a driver for the first half.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, let's go. Okay. With that, Rich, any other NASCAR conversation you want to have before we move on to other things?
You know, I don't have any NASCAR feelings. I think I've heard that there's rumblings that they're going to change the playoff format. Everything is rumors right now, so I think I'd rather wait to see until something official comes out.
Okay. I'm going to say it. I don't want to get too heavy into the weeds, but I don't like... one of the things that I keep hearing is that people don't like that it's a winner take all, or it's a one race finale. I think it has to be a one race finale. Like, it has to be to me. I don't see any other way.
I think what I saw is that it's 32 races, and then you're going to have a playoff race of 4 tracks. Or the last 4 tracks is what we have as the playoffs right now.
Oh. With
no points resets, maybe. To where you're going to have the results over 4 races determine your champion, not knockout round bracket style, to where you'll potentially have a NASCAR champion based off of 1 race. It'll be based off of the results of 4 races.
I don't mind that. I like the winner take all, like the last race of the year, best finisher gets it all, blah blah blah. Like, that to me is awesome. I would love to see that. I love that as a thing. Because here's the deal. If let's say you have the 4 race thing. Let's say you win the first 2 races, and then you get wrecked at the last 2.
But because you did so well at the first 2, you're the NASCAR champion?
Well,
you're also factoring in how well you did during the regular season.
But let's say that the second place guy gets second all 4 races. And so now, let's say then you lose because even though you won 2 races, the other guy beats you. I don't like it.
Well, that'll have to be a topic once we know for sure what this new format will be. So,
Okay. I mean, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
But...
We don't know. We don't know what it is. We just know that a change is likely going to be coming as NASCAR wants to appease the long-time, maybe the long-term fans of the sport. So, Mike, that has been the NASCAR Corner, presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois, and you can also find them on eBay. Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated.
Okay, Rich, let's head on to the gridiron as we got to talk about Week 6. Bears Commanders Monday Night Football. We both picked the Bears, despite a lot of people thinking that the Commanders were the team to beat me here. And the Bears pulled it off 25-24. Rich, how hard was your heart fluttering when they went into when they were going for the field goal as a Bears fan?
You know, it was a little bit nerve-wracking for that.
And knowing that Santos was out and you had this Matt, or who was it?
Jake Moody.
Yeah, Jake Moody. Yeah,
because he couldn't miss, because he was missing field goals. So, yeah, it was a good win. A good win. The defense came up with some big stops.
Yeah.
And the offense did enough in some really bad weather out in Maryland to get the win.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I'm 4-1 in picking the Bears. You joined the Bears with a 3-2 record.
Yep.
Mike, locks of the week. I went with the Broncos over the Jets in London. Didn't watch any of this game, and doesn't look like I missed anything.
Nope.
As Broncos won 13-11, putting me at 4-2. Mike, you picked the Rams over the Ravens. The Rams won 17-3 as those Ravens continue to struggle without Lamar Jackson in the lineup. You are 6-0. Mike, upset specials.
Rich, you picked the Browns over the Steelers. The Browns couldn't pull it off as the Steelers won 23-9, making you 0-6 on the season. I picked the Dolphins over the Chargers. The Chargers pulled it off, giving me my second loss of the season. 29-27 Chargers. Rich, on Thursday night, the Steelers-Bengals played, and instead of going with your heart that hates the Steelers, you picked and picking the Bengals. You picked the Steelers to win. I picked the Bengals to win. The Bengals pulled it off. You are 4-4 on the season. I am 3-5 on the season. Rich,
yeah, it was a close game. If anything, it was a close game, and it's a close game. It's nice to see the Bengals offense come back to life with Joe Flacco under center. And for fantasy purposes, Jamar Chase got us a lot of points.
Yeah.
As they were feeding him the ball. So, Mike, due to busy schedules, we will not be doing our power rankings this week. So let's go and roll into week number 7, with it being an odd week. Mike, you got to give your picks first.
Okay.
The New Orleans Saints will be coming into Chicago for a game with the Bears. You going Bears or Saints?
I got to pick the Bears on this one.
I do as well. The Saints are a team that should be rebuilding, but they keep trying to compete.
Yep.
Instead of committing to a full rebuild. So, yeah, I got to go with the Bears.
Last of the week, Rich, I'm going to pick the Chiefs over the Raiders. Chiefs are at home. This one is scary to me because, again, I hate picking division rival games because you never know what's going to happen. But this one feels pretty confident. Chiefs are starting to get back in there in the swing of things and showing people essentially the Aaron Rodgers relax moment.
Oh, great. I'm going to go with the Patriots over the Titans. The Titans recently fired their coach.
Yep.
And you got to think that Mike Vrabel really wants this win, as he was fired by those Titans because they were tired of mediocrity, or they were tired of just barely winning the division and then having a first-round playoff exit. So they let him go, and then the team has gone downhill ever since.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be a revenge game for him. And those Patriots are looking surprisingly good.
Yeah, I mentioned at the beginning of beforehand, who would have thought
a year, I would say maybe 2 years ago, but even a year ago, that if you would take the Titans, or that you would take the Patriots over the Titans. That just seems.
I think you would have, but the pick distribution might not have been as really far in favor of the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree with that. Rich, upset special of the week. I'm going to take the Jets over the Panthers. Something about it.
They got to win sooner or later.
We got to.
All right. I think that's a little bit of a risky pick, but you're not struggling with upset picks as much as I am. I'm going to take Jim Harbaugh's Superchargers over the Colts. The Colts are doing a lot better than I think anybody thought they were, but if you look at who they've beaten, they really haven't beaten a team that, if we were doing our power rankings, that's probably ranked above number 12, or at least in the top 10. They haven't really beaten a top 10 team in my power rankings.
But would you put the Chargers as a top 10 team? That's a question for next week.
That'll be a discussion for next week. So I'm going to go with the Bolts. I don't think the Colts are going to be able to beat a... By all means, I could see them winning the game, but with this being their first true game against a winning team, I'm going to have to go with the winning team.
Okay, Rich. Thursday night, Vikings versus the Chargers. Not a home pick for me, but I'm still going to pick the Vikings.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me to pick as well. I can see it going either way, but I'm going to go with the home team and the Chargers. But depending on how their games go this week, I might flip the pick on the Yahoo app. For purposes, I will go with the Bolts.
I 100% think this is going to be a game that I actually watch actively.
Mm-hmm.
I don't Thursday night games. I don't tend to tune in for every week, but this is one that I will definitely be tuning in for, because man, is that going to be a fun game.
All right, Mike. So as we said, no power rankings this week due to time constraints on the episode, but also just general busyness. Really, just that we've been. That's been one thing that's been getting put on the back burner.
Yep.
Being put on the back burner this year, so we hope to get that to you next week, as we'll have almost like this is like our third week in a row that we've decided not to do power rankings. So hopefully we can make some time for that next week. So Mike, let's go back to making left turns and go out to the Diamond, as we got baseball to talk about as we're in the League Championship Series. We already know one team that's going to the World Series, but let's first start with those Chicago Cubs.
So when we last met, we were going into Game 5 last Saturday. Mm-hmm. I had said that the Cubs would win in 5. You said the Cubs would win in 4. We knew that it wasn't going to be 4. 5 was still possible, but it didn't happen, as the Brewers came off victorious.
They did.
Now, before we get into full Cubs discussion, let's also go through the week this week, because there are some things that happened after that game that need to be discussed. So, since then, the Brewers lost in a sweep against the Dodgers. Not really surprising, as the Dodgers are built for the playoffs. They are built to be the number one team by far and away in baseball. But we'll finish why that's such a big deal after we give you an update that the Mariners lead 3-2 in the ALCS.
Yep, Game 6 will be Sunday up in Toronto.
Okay. So
let's go with the Dodgers Brewers. I really don't have much to say about the Mariners Jays series.
Yep.
I haven't had a chance to watch it. I didn't even watch any of the Dodgers Brewers series.
Yeah, I didn't.
Just because of
I watched a little bit, but mostly
other things going on. But I gotta bring up what Shohei Ohtani did last night.
Oh my
I'm
goodness,
reading the highlights.
Yeah.
He pitched his 6 shutout innings, strikes out 10. And as the designated hitter, he has 3 home runs.
3 for 3 on the night.
The guy is doing amazing things. I don't know if I'm quite ready to say he's the greatest of all time.
I'm actually in the complete opposite side of it. I'm sorry. Have we seen, like, you and I have never seen this, but even beyond that, baseball is about history. We look at what happened. We look at all the rules, the blah blah blah. We have box scores going back to the first game recorded in history. You can go look at them. You can go look at the stat lines of every player in that game. There is an official job that somebody takes and has a scorecard, and that scorecard has looked the same since essentially the league has been put together. We know the stats, and nobody is doing what Shohei Ohtani has done in the last 3 years. Yeah, if he is not the greatest of all time, if you're not ready to say that, you at least have to say he's in the top 2.
I don't know if I'm quite ready to say that. I would say that he's probably I would be comfortable saying that he's probably one of the greatest players in our generation.
I won't even. That's not even a discussion. He is the greatest player in our generation. The discussion becomes, because we didn't get to see it, did the great Bambino in his early days do half this good? And a lot of the stats say no. Actually, his batting improved, but he only did. He only pitched for, was it 3 years or 4 years? I don't remember.
I think it was longer than that. He did more pitching seasons than that. But obviously, once he got to New York, that's when they made him a full-time hitter and outfielder. They took him off of the mound, I think, once he got into New York.
Rich, he made it to New York his second year in the league.
Really? I thought he pitched more. I thought he did more in Boston. I thought he did just as much in Boston.
No. Rich, wait. I'm sorry. I'm going. Wow. You're right. He pitched 6 years. 6 years in Boston.
So he was he was a two-way player for 6 years in Boston, and then went to New York. Obviously, the talent level was a lot less in those early days in baseball, and there was less teams.
So he pitched. Well. He pitched for. Wow. Okay. So he pitched for 10 seasons. He had pitching stats. Now, the last 4 were 4 innings pitched, 9, and then 3 9-inning pitch. So those ones don't really count. His first one was only 23 innings pitched, but the rest of them were respectable. But yeah. So I guess he did well. But let's go with home runs in each of the seasons for which he pitched. I'm wondering if that's home runs against or his home runs. We'll ignore that stat. But again, either way, he was still. I don't know. I think if we're gonna make the argument that Shohei is not the greatest player of all time, I think the only person that comes close is Babe Ruth.
I can agree with that. With what they are both able to do as two-way players, I think, yeah, Babe Ruth is probably only here that you can compare him.
So but even that, I don't know that I 100% agree with the fact that I think Shohei is doing it better. I think Shohei. Now, I will also say Games played, 2,503 games played for Babe Ruth. That's a lot of baseball. Shohei has a long way to go to get to that number in the majors.
Yep. You can't count his time in Japan.
If we don't count his time in Japan, then yeah, he does have a long way to go. Now, you could argue that Babe Ruth is significantly better. Why? Because, well, he was drunk half the time and still able to do that. Imagine if Babe Ruth would have been sober and didn't smoke or drink in the dugout. How much better of a player he could have been.
I don't know if he was drinking in the dugout, but he lived probably a hard. He probably lived a very hard lifestyle off the field, which is something that today's players don't do.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. So
speaking of Babe Ruth, one of the big famous things that happened with Babe Ruth is he got traded from the Red Sox to the Yankees. And what happened after he did that, Rich?
he stopped pitching, but he became
more importantly,
the curse of the Bambino.
The Red Sox got cursed. Well, you like that?
Okay. All right.
Because of that conversation, we have to talk about a new curse that I hope has happened. At the end, we said we were going to come back to the Cubs-Brewers game from last Saturday, and this is where we come in. The Brewers, in their team photo for winning the championship, or winning the NLDS, which, by the way, they were expected to win handily. Like, come on now. Pulled out the L flag. Now, the L flag is a flag that Cubs haters tend to bring out, and Brewers fans especially, when you're up there, if the Brewers win, those fans almost have there are nearly as many people with L flags as there are Cubs fans with W flags when you go to Wrigley North to watch a game against the Brewers. The Brewers take it out. Not only do they take it out and run around the field with it, like showing it off, like, look at us, we beat the Cubs, They took it to their team photo. The disrespect. If you don't know, the Cubs have a W flag. By the way, the Cubs actually fly an L flag. They used to. I don't think they still do. But the Cubs...
I think they do. It just doesn't get as much publicity when they lose.
Right.
They're raising that flag.
They still...
I think it's a split flag. I think it's a blue flag with a white L instead of it being a white flag with a blue W.
Right. I think you're right on that. That is the official L flag, but this is a white flag with a blue, with what they call Brewers blue L on it. And the Cubs, the Cubs fly it. The Cubs, we know that flag. We've seen it. But the fact of the matter is, why are you being so petty? I guess petty is the best word that I can come up with. That you have to have that not only on the field, but you're going to have it in your team photo for winning. Which means every newspaper, when they show the picture of the team getting their photo taken on ESPN, all of it has
that flag in it.
Just to say, hey. Now, turnabout is player play, though. What did we just say happened to the Brewers after doing such a terrible thing? They got swept. They haven't won a game. Now, I would say that they got swept because the Dodgers are just built better than any other team right now. They spent more money. They deferred more money. They've done all of the things to make it so that they're designed to be the best team that money and can buy and a good front office can put together. But I hope this is the L flag curse and the Brewers continue to struggle for the next 100 years.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be any? It was William Contreras was the player that was the one parading the flag out there in the post-game celebration on the field.
Do you think he got a call from his brother saying that wasn't cool, bro?
I don't know.
By the way, that's Wilson Contreras' brother. What?
Now he plays for one of the rival teams too.
Yeah, but he also understands that that's it's one of those things that you probably shouldn't do.
So, did you think there'll be any retaliation for that in the first game next year?
No, I think yes, but I think it's going to be the Cubs win. The Brewers are so, and you and I discussed it over text. The Brewers were not ready for this offseason. Their pitching had too many injuries. By the way, I think the Cubs were in a similar situation where I don't think either of these teams win the NLCS. Why? Because both of their pitching was just like they both needed a bullpen game to get through the NLDS. The Dodgers are not going to let you in a 5-game series have maybe 2, because you probably would have needed 2 bullpen games if you would have gone anything more than 4 games. And the Brewers needed 2 and 5. And there's no way that you're going to win a series against that Dodgers team with 2 or 3 bullpen games. So, I want your thoughts. Sorry, I kind of...
No, you're fine. It's good to... I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be a sweep. I would have thought that it would have gone...
I didn't think it was going to be a sweep either.
I thought that it would have gone at least to... I thought the Brewers would have eked out 1 win.
I thought it would have been a gentleman's sweep at worst. Could have been... I think the Brewers could have won 2. I don't think they were going to win any more than 2. But yeah, that Dodgers team. We said at the beginning of the year they were going to win it all.
We did. So Mike, the World Series will start on Friday, which will more than likely be before we record. So watch for a Facebook post where Mike and I will give our picks for the World Series.
I mean, my pick is...
we'll set our lunch bet.
I don't know who has it. I
don't know either. Your team went further in the playoffs.
So either way, I think if we do make it, I think I will say now. I think the Dodgers win. I don't think that's even a question at this point. I think the Dodgers just win.
Okay.
But
I will give you the Dodgers for the bet. I will take the American League team, regardless of who wins. I'll take that.
Now, I'm hoping it's a Blue Jays win, because I love when it's cross-continental matches. Plus, now, the sad part is I would prefer it to have been Boston or New York, mostly because, and only because, I love the outdoor cold games of late baseball.
Yeah, because if Toronto gets there, you can guarantee that the dome's going to be closed.
Oh yeah, there ain't no way they're going to open that dome.
With Seattle, yes, they have it's more like an umbrella over the roof.
Yeah.
It's not fully enclosed.
Right. But even still, Seattle doesn't get that cold.
No, it doesn't.
So, okay, now let's turn to the real topic of this entire show, as we got to talk about the Cubs season recap, final thoughts, and what we hope the offseason looks like, and what they should do, and the biggest question: what should happen to Kyle Tucker? Where do you want to start?
Let's start with final thoughts on this season, just in case we gotta continue put a put a pin in the grenade and talk about and talk more about this subject next week. But final thoughts. I thought it was a successful season.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of a what if, because what if you could have gotten that front line starting pitcher that would have led to one less bullpen game, a type of starting pitcher that that unless he got just rocked, you could put him in and know that he could get you to the sixth inning where you could turn it over to the bullpen. But at the same time, the prospects, not knowing what's going to happen with Kyle Tucker at the end of the year, they chose to hold on to those prospects that it probably would have taken to get the trade done, just in case they need those guys to replace the production they're going to lose with Tucker next year.
Yeah, I totally agree, Rich. I can't imagine that this team, couldn't imagine at the beginning of the season they were going to be this far along. I 100% thought that this team was doing well enough to make some arguments, but I didn't think that they were. I thought they were an early out playoff team, but they make the playoffs. I thought they had potential to win the division, but again, I didn't think this was a team built to do as good as they even did. Even with how rough our second half was compared to our first half, we were still a good team. The Brewers just, after the All-Star game, something happened. And they just were on a tear crazier than we've seen in years. There's not much you can do about that once you hit that point. And so I'm not surprised. But, and more importantly, the Cubs did... the Cubs are young. Now, there's still a couple spots. We already said Kyle Tucker we got to look at in the offseason. We're coming up on another rookie deal that we're going to have to figure out what to do with at some point. But this doesn't feel like a missed 2016. I have said from the beginning that this team is probably and should be looked at more as a late 2014, early 2015 team. Before we got the pitchers in place. Rich, in 2014, we had one or two of the pitchers that we would count on when we went to in 2015 and 2016 when we went lights out. We did not have that pitching in 2014. It was off-season trades, deals that were made, free agent signings, all of this stuff that made it so we got that pitching, and that pitching is what took us to the defense wins championships, and the most overrated, underrated defense in sports is the pitcher in baseball. Technically, it is the only defensive player to hold the ball at every play. Only a defensive player to hold the ball in every play. Period. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't, as much as I think Shota is good, he's not the ace that we need. Maybe next year he develops into it. By the way, when we were looking at 2014, I don't think we weren't doing the show then, but if you look back at our conversations back then, we probably said something similar about Kyle Hendricks. He's really good, but I don't think he's an ace. We had guys on the team that developed and became aces, and maybe that's what what's gonna happen to Shota Imanaga. Maybe that's what we see. Maybe there are things like that happen. We have to get an ace in the offseason. I'm not trying to get into the offseason yet, but this season we were better than the 2014 Cubs, and we are still in that position of the 2014 Cubs. We don't have all the pieces in place, but we still were guys that were scrappy and making plays. Our defense, By the way, we don't even have in the outline 6 Cubs are nominated for Gold Gloves this year. 6. I think that's the most in baseball for one team. 6 players with Gold Glove nominations. This team is a special team. They can go hugely far. But we need to talk about the offseason. So, Rich, in the offseason, I mean, we say it all the time, we need pitching. We need to focus on getting pitching. And I think that's what cost us the NLDS. That's what will hinder us from making that milestone. We have we have the infield in place. We have the outfield in place. Honestly, this Cubs team feels like that 2016 Cubs team that had what 5 or 3. It was 3 of the positions in the All-Star game that started.
We had our entire infield started that All-Star game.
Yeah, our infield feels like that right now. Maybe making getting a little bit more of an improvement on either side of the diamond. But I don't think we have to. I think we could make it work.
Yeah, I could see that. I could really see them.
But who are you going to eye?
If for some reason Tucker isn't re-signed and you go with one of the prospects out in the outfield like Casey, that money's got to go somewhere. I could really see them going with a veteran third baseman and then turning Shaw into a utility guy.
Yeah, but again,
you turn Shaw into your Ben Zobrist.
Oh, 100%.
A guy that you can turn around and put in at second base, if second, short, or third, if one of those guys needs a day off, or you DH them instead.
And here's the other question, though. Who in the offseason are you going to target? Who's the third baseman that's a free agent?
Alex Bregman. You don't like him because he was part of that cheating Astros. Oh. But you can't argue with the guy's bat. He's good.
Rich, is it still in there? Oh,
it's in there because you choose to keep bringing it up. But he's had success inside and outside of Houston, so it wasn't just that he had a really good year during the cheating Astros. He's put up consistent numbers before the cheating, after the cheating, and he had a darn good year in Boston this year.
Yeah, but going to Boston doesn't help you much. They were a cheating team too.
So I don't. That's a guy that you could target if you viewed Shaw. If you wanted to take him to more of a utility player. But I mean, Shaw did really well in the second half. So for me, it comes down to I would more focus on pitching.
By the way, I would agree. Alex Bregman at third base would be an improvement.
If you could get him on a short-term deal, but I think at his age and the state of his career, he doesn't want to do another short-term deal or a long-term deal with an opt-out.
Yeah, I would agree. He's trying to look for that financial security that comes with a 10-year, $500 million contract or whatever.
And that's what Tucker's looking for too. So it comes down to, if you keep Tucker, what do you do with Ballesteros and Casey? Because there's no traditional flexibility with those guys. They play the outfield and they DH, and you can DH them. So do you take a hit on your bench by having limited positional flexibility like they did in the playoffs, or do you let Kyle Tucker walk and spend that money elsewhere?
I think either option is fine, but I think option number 3 is probably your best, and that option number 3 is trade fodder. These guys could start in almost any other team and do well. If we think Kyle Tucker is the veteran leadership that we need on the team, by the way, I think Ian Happ is that guy. So I don't think we need Kyle Tucker. I think Ian Happ is a veteran that we should just stick with. But if we decide that Kyle Tucker is our guy, I don't. By the way, I don't. I'm team let him walk. Let him shop. We have plenty of prospects and all that, and if we save the money there, we can do tons of stuff elsewhere. So, and
all right, we'll see if that tune. We'll see if that tune changes when Kyle Tucker signs elsewhere or re-signs with the Cubs. I think I'm kind of on the fence as well with what to do with Tucker because of what you could do with that money elsewhere rather than tying up $500-600 million over 10 years in one guy.
I mean, even if
we all know how well that worked out with Jason Hayward.
But even if we do that with one guy, what's that look like for pitching? How does that change your pitching aspect? That's, to me, the bigger deal. If we can make it so that we have pitching in a way that just outdoes, like, if we have an ace that we're paying $500 million to for 10 years in pitching, which, by the way, pitchers don't get that long-term of a deal because pitching is one of those things that you're, like, all you people that are going to come at me in the comments about the fact that Shohei Ohtani is, we already have said he is the greatest player, one of the greatest players of all time. He's a special case. You're paying for two guys, not one, blah, blah, blah. Get him out of here. But pitchers don't get long-term contracts because generally they don't have the longevity that a fielder gets. So, with that, Rich, we do need to move on. We will finish up the discussion next week. Depending on, well, yeah, because our baseball topic is going to be, here's who's playing, here's how they did last night next week. So we'll next week's discussion we'll keep on there what the we'll do an in-depth dive on what we think the offseason should look like, and maybe we'll come to a resolution on what we both think on what they should do with Kyle Tucker. With that,
I agree.
Esports update: we traveled out there, we lost. We probably don't make the playoffs. It kind of sucks, but when you lose four of your top five, and two of them are top three players in the state, and one of them, the third one is your third best on that team is one of the top 15 in the state. You can't do much. Like you're losing some of the best players in the state. So, yeah. We'll see. Hopefully these next two games we'll do better at, and we'll see. Anyway, with that, Rich, we'll move the other topics down to later. Any shout-outs for the week?
Not this week.
Okay.
Not this week.
I agree. With that, if you want to follow the show, you can find us anywhere where you find your podcast. You can also watch us, or you can also participate in poll questions on Facebook.com/fansofballsand6 or Facebook.com/ballsand6. Podcast or anywhere where you get your podcast. Hopefully I can get those updated soon. And with that, Rich, what's it time to do?
Well, let's go ahead and roll the outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast with your hosts, Mike and Rich.